read this immediately. Immediately. This needs to be read immediately. Good morning, everyone. Today we are picking my June TBR. So we're doing it a little bit differently today than what we usually do. So grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's get into the video. The way that we're going to do it is I have made myself a new TBR jar. But in this TBR jar, I have every single one of my books that are on my physical TBR written on a piece of paper in here, and we're going to pick it out, and whatever we pick is what we read this month. I just thought that would be a really fun way of doing it. It's a little less biased because I'm not picking books based on a prompt that I want to read. It's just going to force me to sort of read books that maybe are on the back burner or I don't have a huge desire to read. I just think it'll just give like a little bit more of a randomization, if that makes sense. So let's get into the first one. I also just realized that I didn't write down like anything from this series or like the next one in like the City of Bones series and all that too. So, because I do have a few books on this shelf that I haven't read yet, or like I haven't finished the series, all that sort of stuff. So I just realized I haven't added those in here, so I should do that, but we're not going to do that for today. So let's pick the first one. I still have 40, I think I counted 45 books on the TBR. Okay, Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. Now this is the reason why I wanted to do this. This book is exactly like the reason why I wanted to do this. I've heard so many mixed reviews about this book that I never add it to the TBR under any sort of prompt. So it's just going to sort of force me to sort of pull it out and pick it up and read it. So I'll quickly read you the back. When two rival journalists find love through a magical connection, their fate depends on their facing the depths of hell together. After centuries of sleep, the gods are warring again. Expelled into the middle of a mystical war, magical typewriters in tow, can Heir's widow and Roman Kit's unlikely bond withstand to the fight for the fate of mankind and, most importantly, love? Sounds very interesting. I don't know. It's on the TBR. Also, we're going to pick about I'm probably going to pick 8 to 10 books. I don't think I'll get through all of that this month, but book number 1 is Divine Rivals. All right, second book is, they're so tiny. Oh, Bride by Ali Hazelwood, although Book Bestie wants to read this. So you know what, I'm actually going to leave this out because Book Bestie wants to read this with me. So I'm actually going to take it out. I forgot about that. Book number 2. Because he wants to do a buddy read of that book with me. So I will leave that for me and him. Wildfire. This is a new one. I only bought this last week. So Wildfire by Hannah Grace. It's the second book in, I forget what it's called. I don't know what the series is called. But it's the book after Icebreaker. I don't know who it follows, to be honest. I don't think either of these people are in Icebreaker, but I'll read you the back. It only takes one spark. When Russ Callahan and Aurora Roberts cross paths at a college party, a new drinking game results in a passionate one-night stand. Never one to overstay her welcome or expect much from a man, Aurora slips away before Russ even has a chance to ask her full name. Imagine their surprise when they bump into each other on their first day as summer camp counselors, hoping to escape their complicated home lives for the summer break. As the summer unfolds, the tension between them intensifies. Russ doesn't want to risk breaking the camp's strict no-staff fraternization rule, but unfortunately for him, Aurora has never been very good at caring about rules. Will the two learn to peacefully coexist, or did their one night together start a fire they can't put out? That sounds really interesting. I'm very excited to read that. Book number 3. They're all getting stuck together. Book number 3. A Crown So Silver by Lyra Selene, I think is how you say her name. I have started to read this, but I put it down and I really need to read it. I'm intimidated by it because I loved the first book so much, to the point where I even have tabs going already for it, and I would have just lost my place in the book, but that's fine. I'm probably going to end up rereading what I've got anyway, so I'm just going to stick it in the front. This is the second book in the Fair Folk trilogy. This is book 2. I'm not going to read you the back because I don't want to spoil anything that happens in A Feather So Black is the first one in this series. It's up there on my shelf. I'm not going to get it. I love this series. I loved the first book. What actually drew me to the first book was the cover. I can be a sucker for a good cover, and like this one's stunning. The other one was like pink, yellow, blue, purple. It was stunning. So that was what led me to pick up this series in the first place. This came out in January, I believe, and I was so hung up on Onyx Storm that I struggled to read this. That's why I ended up putting it down. So this might be the perfect time to read this. I am currently doing a reread of Onyx Storm, so I think I might try and smash this out early before I finish Onyx Storm, so I'm not in that slump of Onyx Storm that I know I'm going to end up in. All right, 3 down. We're going to do 7 more. Let's pick out another one. Oh, Die For You. I just had that on, that was on my TBR last month, Die For You. I'm going to put it on the TBR again this month. If I don't end up reading it, I'm probably going to DNF it. I've tried to read this like 2 or 3 times. I always just end up putting it down or forgetting about it, so I'm going to put it on the TBR. If it doesn't get read this month, I'm probably going to unhaul it. Alright, let's pick a new one. Book number 5. We're halfway. This is going to be a fairly quick video because of this. Enter Chameleon by A Double. So I actually got this, it's a dark romance book, which is great because we don't actually have dark romance on here yet. We've got 3 fantasy and 1 like romance and then a dark romance, which is good. I got this off of Ivy Graves, who is a friend of mine who is an author. She, to our first book club, she brought a whole bunch of books and I took quite a few because I was like, yes, absolutely. So I'll read you the back. Is it Jack? Jack. Chameleon is a brothel unlike any other. You got a fantasy, we've got the girls and rooms to make it happen. Well, I do. I'm a dickhead, I'm unyielding, I'm the fucking boss. I set the rules, you follow them, it's that simple. I don't offer second chances and don't mix business with pleasure. Megan. I ran away, all the way to Scotland, and I'm never going back. Limited job offers leave me no choice but to apply for a position at my friend's work. When Jack mistakes me for a working girl, I instantly hate his guts. That doesn't stop me from thinking that he's hot as hell, but I don't have time for complications. I gotta keep running before my past catches me. That sounds so interesting. I've never read the back, but that sounds so interesting. I'm very excited to read that now, and it's not too long. Like, I should be able to get through this fairly quickly. It's 226 pages and the writing in it is massive. So very excited for that. Loving this. All right. Oh, I almost threw some out. Let's pick another one. The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This book has been on my physical TBR for a year almost. Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I'm gonna read the back because it's been so long I don't even know what this is about. Of course I want to be like them. They're beautiful as blades forged in some divine fire, and Carden is even more beautiful than the rest. I hate him so much that sometimes when I look at him I can hardly breathe. One terrible morning, Jude and her sisters see their parents murdered in front of them. The fearsome assassin abducts all 3 girls and brings them to the world of fairy. Mocked and tormented for being merely mortal, Jude soon realizes that to survive in the treacherous, dangerous world of the royal court, she needs to be as cunning and deceitful as the Fae themselves. But the stairway to power is fraught with shadows and betrayal, and looming over all is the arrogant and charismatic Prince Carden. I don't know how I feel about that. It doesn't sound super enticing to me, but you know, it's on the TBR, so we're going to give it a go nonetheless. We'll at least attempt to. It's 370 pages, so it's fairly quick. The writing in it is tiny though, but that's fine. So, The Cruel Prince by Holly Black is book number 6. Okay, book number 7. Heartless by Elsie Silver. Oh, I mean, it's good because we need something other than fantasy, but I have really decided that I'm not the biggest fan of small town romances. However, this is on my shelf, so I may as well read it. This is 432 pages, so I should be able to read this in a day or 2. I did read Flawless by Elsie Silver this month because I'm still filming this in May, and it wasn't bad, but it also wasn't good. There was a 3rd act breakup. I wanted to throw it across the room because I'm so over the third act breakups, especially when it's like a miscommunication or it's like, I'm doing this to protect you from me. Like, no, like, that's each individual's decision. So part of the reason why I'm like at the point of where I'm probably going to write off Elsie Silver as an author that I enjoy is because I have read Wild Love by Elsie Silver as well, And there was a third act conflict that didn't result in a breakup in Wild Love, but it's still just like, it's one of those things that really bothers me to the extent that it went to. So I'll read you the back of this anyway because they're all interconnected standalones. I do know, I'm pretty sure this is Willa's story, and Willa is Ford's sister, which is the MMC of Wild Love. So, I mean, that's probably the only reason why I find this interesting. Working as a nanny for the world's grumpiest single dad should have been simple, except I can't keep my eyes off him, and he can't keep his hands off me. Cade Eaton is 13 years older than me and barely looks my way until I get him in the hot tub for a game of truth or dare. Then all bets are off, and so are our clothes. He's gruff, a little rough around the edges, but it turns out broad-shouldered ranchers with filthy mouths are this city girl's kryptonite, so who am I to resist? And when he softens in our quiet moments together, I start to realize his hardened exterior is just a facade. Someone once convinced him that his best wasn't good enough, yet I've never felt more cherished than I do in his arms. My contract may say this arrangement is only for 2 months, but my heart says it's forever. I mean, it sounds interesting. I'm just curious to know, like, I don't know, it does sound interesting, so we'll see. I need this for a palette cleanser because we've got four fantasy and a dark romance, and then like a romance and a small town romance. So look, it's good because I'm going to need to have something like this on the TBR. So Heartless by Elsie Silver, book number 7. All right, next. A Fate Inked Blood by Danielle L. Jenson. I'm so excited for that book. I have been itching to read this book. Now, it's to be expected that I'm going to have a lot of fantasy on any of my TBRs because my physical TBR cart has predominantly fantasy on it. So that's to be expected that it's going to be more fantasy heavy, but I can read about 2 fantasy books in a row before to be honest, I can read more. I think in April I read like 5 romantasy books and 1 romance, and I kind of went into a bit of a slump. So if I read like 2 fantasies and then have a palette cleanser and then go back to 2 more fantasies, I'm good. Like, I'm totally fine with that. So this is Saga of the Unfated, book 1. I think there's 2 or 3 books, I'm not sure, but this is obviously book 1, so I'll read you the blurb. A woman blessed by the gods battles to unite a nation under a power-hungry king while fighting her own growing desire for his fiery son in this Norse-inspired fantasy romance. Bound in an unwanted marriage, Freya spends her days gutting fish but dreams of becoming a warrior and of putting an axe in her boorish husband's back. Freya's dreams abruptly become reality when her husband betrays her to the region's Jarl, landing her in a fight to the death against his son, Bjorn. To survive, Freya is forced to reveal her deepest secret. She possesses a drop of a goddess's blood, which makes her a shield maiden with magic capable of repelling any attack. And it's been foretold that such magic will unite the fractured nation of Skaland beneath the one who controls the shield maiden's fate. Believing he's destined to rule Skaland as king, the fanatical Jarl binds Freya with a blood oath and orders Bjorn to protect her from their enemies. Desperate to prove her strength, Freya must train to fight and learn to control her magic, all while facing perilous tests set by the gods. The greatest test of all, however, may be resisting her forbidden attraction to Bjorn. If Freya succumbs to her lust for the charming and fierce warrior, she risks not only her own destiny, but the fate of all the people she has sworn to protect. I mean, it sounds very interesting. I am very curious as to like what all that means. And it does look like it's strictly from her POV, which I do love. So yeah, very excited to read A Fate Inked in Blood. I'm so sorry, guys. So tongue-tied. Okay, we picked 2 more. So book number 9 for the TBR. It's a tiny one. Ooh, what's this? Stolen Heir by Sophie Lark. This is a dark romance, which is great. Stolen Heir. This, I'm pretty sure, is like, they're either interconnected standalones or I'm not sure, but oh, this has artwork in it. I love that. This has artwork in it. Obsessed. Anyway, Stolen Heir by Sophie Lark. I will read you the back. I do believe this is their dark romance. It's part of the Brutal Birthright series. I believe this is book 2, but I don't think they're like a continuation series. Love is one thing you can't steal. Nessa Griffin leads a lonely life. Too compassionate and gentle for the underworld business she grew up in. She fills no role in her family's mafia empire, struggling to prove herself both at home and in her highly competitive ballet corps. Obsessed. Oh! A ballerina and she's part of a mafia. Love that. Hopefully this is better because I've read one ballet romance and I hated it. Mikolaj Wilk is the most vicious gangster in Chicago and he's hellbent on revenge. His adoptive father saved him from the streets of Warsaw only to die at the hands of the Griffins. As part of his vengeance... I'm so excited. I love these. I love these. I literally just read The Darkest Temptation by Danielle and it sounds very similar to that. So I love these types of dark romances. Now I'm very excited for this. As part of his vengeance, Mikolaj abducts Nessa, holding her captive in his mouldering gothic mansion. Yes! She might not deserve to pay for her family's crimes, but in this world the wolves eat the lambs no matter how gentle and innocent they may be. But even as Mikolaj plots the destruction of everything the Griffins hold dear, he finds himself fixated on his captive, wanting this ballerina to dance only for him. Meanwhile, Nessa finds herself lost in the growing tension between her and her kidnapper, their twisted relationship building in new terrifying ways. He is the beast to her beauty, but can Nessa find the man inside before he gives in to his hunger? I have to read this immediately. Immediately. This needs to be read immediately. I'm so glad I did this. All right, last one. What are we gonna get? Rival Darling. This is a new book. And I do know that there is, like, this is a series, but I believe they're, like, interconnected standalone, so I can read them out of order. This is, yeah, Fall Hard for the Darling Devils, Odd and Off the Ice. So there's Grumpy Darling, so I'm assuming that they must be, like, I don't know, the Devils, I don't know. But it's obviously an ice hockey thing, which I love at the moment, so I'll read you the back. She should have known better than to do a deal with a devil. When Violet is left heartbroken by the captain of her school's ice hockey team, oh that's right, I remember reading this and I was like, yes, love. She vows never to date a jock again, but to prove she's moved on, she turns to the most unlikely person, her ex's biggest rival, the notorious captain of the Ransom Devils. Reed Darling is gorgeous, mysterious, and intimidating. The only thing people love to talk about more than his hockey skills are his exploits as a ruthless heartbreaker and bad boy. Who better to serve as Violet's fake boyfriend until her ex gets the message, right? But Violet soon starts to wonder if there's more to Reed than the gossip suggests, and Reed is determined to win her over and show her he's not the guy everyone thinks he is. Is this jock about to break all her rules? So excited to read that too. So I'm very excited for those. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the pieces of paper with the books on them, because if I don't read them, they're going to go back in the jar. Okay, so to do a quick rapid fire of the books, we have book number 1 that we pulled was Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This is a fantasy. We have Wildfire by Hannah Grace, which is a romance. We have A Crown So Silver, which again is a fantasy slash it's actually a romantasy. We have Die For You, which is again a romantasy. However, if this book does not get read this month, I am unhauling it. Enter Chameleon by a double, which is a dark romance. Sounds super interesting. Super keen to read this. The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Again, it's a romantasy. Not super excited about this, but we'll see how it goes. Heartless by Elsie Silver. This is sort of like the final test for Elsie Silver as to whether or not I'm going to read any more of her books after this. A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle Jenson. Very excited for this. It's like Nordic inspired fantasy romance. Super excited for that. And then we have Stolen Heir by Sophie Lark, which again is a dark romance, which I'm super excited for because it's the captive and captor, it's family revenge, all those sorts of things, which it's giving very much The Darkest Temptation by Danielle. And then we have Rival Darling by Alexandra Moody, and this one I've only just bought, just picked it up, and I'm very excited because I really do love ice hockey. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you've read any of the books that I picked, Let me know what you think, spoiler free, of course. Just tell me what you rated it. That's what I would love to know, what your rating was, and a spice rating if they have them. Make sure that you like this video if you did enjoy. Also subscribe to my channel so that you get regular updates as to when I'm posting. If you also click the notification bell, you will get a notification every time I post. You do have to make sure you have to change the settings on it so that you get notified every time I post. And make sure you follow my TikTok and my Instagram. They'll be linked on the screen for you as well as in the description box. I will also link all these books in the description box as well so that you guys can see them. That's it from me today. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! Mwah.